Well, now that you say schools should have a hand in the kind of people that come into the school because they are the ones who
I strongly believe so.
Okay, but the thing is, at what point should they have that hand? Don't schools participate in setting these exams before JAMB eventually presents them to the students?
JAMB is the one that is fully involved.
So you don't have anybody from schools going to JAMB to liaise with them whatsoever?
To set questions? They don't work in JAMB. They don't work in JAMB.
And no modification can be done to see that they have that input at that point, as opposed to having it.
It doesn't work that way. Look at JAMB Act. It doesn't work that way. No.
Do you think it should be amended or looked into? Because since they are disagreeing at the point that they make that
this disagreement, if you remember how heated it was, 2004, National Assembly, it was heated, and people saw the reason. I don't know why we don't want to be the best that we can be. I don't know why. I don't know why we are shying away from telling ourselves some home truths. You know, last year it was so bad that some people that did not even apply to private universities were sent to private universities, not minding if their parents can afford it or not, until their demonstrations started all over the place. Is this whole carrying capacity thing? If infrastructures can be expanded, because carrying capacity is that this room, like where we are now, we can't take more than 3 people to sit on this stage. So no matter the number of people that will want to join in this live discussion, physically, they cannot be here. That is carrying capacity.
So what kind of impact would you say this post-UTME screening has had so far on?
It has helped us to get good quality students. It has helped to improve the quality of our intakes.
So are they able to get students who will also, for instance, how do you identify those who have very good skills and not just the theoretical aspect?
You know, education is a holistic thing. It's a holistic thing. Even initially when we started with oral interviews, we saw people could not speak. We saw somebody that had A3 in literature and had 78 in literature in JAMB. And one of the textbooks that they used for that year, that student did not know the author of that textbook. A recommended text for that year. Not JAMB, but WAEC. That candidate wrote and had A3. So what are we talking about? We should not kill education further. We are badly brutalized, traumatized.
What's your thinking of what the minister said concerning what is now pass mark for JAM candidates? 180, he says.
It has always been 180.
Always?
Yes. It has always been 180.
Not in my time.
No, in the last 10, 15 years. It has always been 180 for universities, and polytechnics and colleges of education, 160. In fact, there was a year it got down to 150. And in fact, when it got down to 150, some of us protested for College of Education, because that is you are telling us that is the dregs that you want to go and read education.
Why is that so?
It's the poor perception of education.
Because sometimes you see people who come into universities and they say, because you just couldn't get into, for instance, you want to study economics.
I wrote JAMB and I put education.
And you want to study economics and you can't get in, then you now go into the education app. Why has that always been? But does that worry you?
It does worry me. It does worry me greatly, But again, we also have to face reality. Many students or many candidates don't put in education. The merit admission list, most times, many other courses fill their quota with the merit list. But there's no time as education met even up to 50% of its current capacity on the merit list.
Does this have to do with the thinking
The thinking of the
nation?
people. Why would I send my child to go and read education? Why would I do that? Is when they are not able to get into their preferred courses. And they now come to education. And education is seen as a dumping ground. And when you don't have a passion for something, you are not interested in something, you just walk in and walk out. Though some of them have come into education and saw the beauty in education, that is not just carrying chalk, that is preparing you as a holistic individual. Some of them, I have students that read law, came back to do counseling. A geologist coming back to do counseling, to do psychology. There are many of them like that. But because when they are growing up, the low premium placed on education and the poor perception of education and teachers, where a teacher is the last to be paid, where a teacher is the last to be recognized, why would I be the one to be at the... And some of us have also argued, if you have to give us people, then give us the people that have chosen education as their first choice. If the cutoff is 240, for instance, and you have about 20% of the merit, and we still have people that scored below 240 up to 200 and are in education, give them to us, because they have indicated the initial interest to study education, and that interest should be encouraged to be sustained.
Since this argument is back this year, I mean, do you think this solution will work on a larger scene? Since they complain about JAM, they complain about post-utme, will this solve this once and for all?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so, because people will always complain, like I said.
But it can be reduced to barest minimum.
It can be reduced to the barest minimum. Allow us to still screen our students. Allow us to have a hand in who comes into my classroom, the person I'm going to teach. Because when they don't do well, we are the ones they crucify. I want to be part of the process of selecting, not sending me a list. And you send me a list with the names ranked according to the scores, and I just cut off. My department, for instance, is 50 students, and I look at the list, and the list, the first 50 names. What is that?
All right, Ngozi Osare is Professor of Counseling Psychology, University of Lagos, and former Commissioner for Education in Edo State. Thank you for your time this morning.